So you've decided that you're going to put a pool in your backyard. That's great. And the upfront cost is probably the number one thing on your mind. But there's another thing you need to think of, and that's the cost over about 10 years. There's 3 different types of pools, and they actually vary in terms of how much maintenance upkeep you're going to have, both in labor and cost, over the course of that 10-year period. Both in 10 years and annually, you're going to be spending wildly different amounts based off of the type of pool that you choose, and that might actually determine what pool you get. So we're going to go over those costs, and hopefully I can help educate you on what those costs are. So I'm Drew with River Pools Red Wing. Let's get to it. I normally do my videos by the pool here at the shop, but we have a river in our backyard, and I decided that I'm going to record one here today because we are called River Pools, so I may as well do both, right, as my background, even though you can't really see it. But hey, it's nice out, so I'm going to take advantage of our warm weather. So we're going to be using a medium-sized pool as our baseline, something like a River Pools R28 model, like a 28 by 15 foot pool, because I don't want to go too small and I don't want to go too big either. And concrete pools, they can get wildly big. So roughly something around an R28 in terms of size is what we're going to be using for our baseline. We're going to look at national averages for the real-world maintenance costs, stuff that you're going to be spending money on for chemicals, for upkeep. We're not really going to be looking at stuff like insurance or the finances. So what costs are we going to be looking at today? We're going to look at these 4 things today. We're going to look at routine maintenance costs, energy usage costs, chemical costs, and then major repair costs. Stuff like your vinyl replacements, your acid washing, your resurfacing for your concrete pools. Those are the types of big repairs we're going to be talking about. Now I want to throw a disclaimer out there for all of these pools. Poor chemical maintenance on any type of pool will increase the frequency in terms of major repairs. If you don't maintain your chemicals, you will have premature fading on fiberglass, premature fading on vinyl liner. You'll have more acid washing and resurfacing on concrete pools. So everything I'm talking about today is assuming that you keep up on your chemicals well. So we'll start with fiberglass pools. Now on maintenance, you've actually got a lower maintenance than you do for the other 2 types of pools because you've got a smooth surface, and because of that, you're going to spend less time brushing. You have less algae growth because of that smooth surface. There's no liner, there's no acid washing. Fiberglass pools are great for energy efficiency because, well, they're made of fiberglass for one. They're great for holding that heat in, and if you add an auto cover to your pool, that helps with that energy efficiency and that heat retention, but that's on any pool. In terms of chemical use for a fiberglass pool, you're going to use roughly 70% less chemicals than you would for something like a concrete pool, which is about $175 a year. So in terms of major repairs, you don't have a liner, you don't have anything to replaster or acid wash. So in terms of that long-term major repairs for fiberglass, it's really non-existent. Depending on how much you run things like a heater, a chiller, and your pump, you're going to be spending about $500 to $600 a year with a fiberglass pool. So let's move to vinyl liner pools. In terms of maintenance, it's easier than concrete, but your liner can still wrinkle and tear, so you're going to have to maintenance that. In terms of energy efficiency, it's actually pretty comparable to fiberglass. You're going to be spending about $300 a year for your energy. In terms of maintenance, you've got moderate maintenance. It's easier than a concrete pool. It's comparable to fiberglass, but with a vinyl liner pool, algae will tend to kind of grow around the seams of a liner pool, and you're not going to be able to avoid seams in a liner pool. So that will increase the amount of maintenance you're going to have on your vinyl liner pool. And because it has extra algae, you're going to spend more time brushing, and you're going to spend a little more on chemicals. So in terms of major repairs, you will have to replace your liner every 5 to 10 years. You might get 15 years out of it. It depends on how rough you are with them. But if you do get a tear prematurely, then you're going to be spending somewhere between $4,000 to $8,000. It could be even more depending on where you are. So over that 10-year period, that is going to be, like I said, $4,000 to $8,000. So that is a major replacement that you're going to have to worry about. Total annual cost for a vinyl liner pool is going to be about $1,200 to $1,500 a year. Concrete pools are the highest maintenance pools of all 3 types. You've got a much more abrasive surface than you do with vinyl or fiberglass pools, and because of that abrasive surface, you will be growing a lot more algae than you would with the other 2 types of pools. Now, because of more algae, you're going to spend more time brushing, you're going to spend more on chemicals, and because you have more bacteria to filter out of your pool, you're going to be spending more money running your pump, running your filter. It's going to add that energy up over time and spend a lot more money than the other 2 types of pools. On top of acid washing, which can be anywhere between $500 to $800 depending on where you are, and resurfacing or replastering your concrete pool every 10 to 15 years, which is very expensive, right about $10,000. Annually, you'll be spending about $2,500 compared to vinyl's $1,200 to $1,500, and compared to fiberglass's $500 to $600 over 10 years. That's a $20,000 plus difference depending on what type of pool you choose. If you want low cost, low maintenance, and high durability, fiberglass is hard to beat. It's more durable than vinyl liner, it's way cheaper in the long run than both vinyl and concrete, and it's just as durable, if not more durable, than concrete. But if cost really isn't a factor, and concrete's what you want to go with due to the customization options it has, then that might be the pool for you. Vinyl liner, while it's cheaper up front, you're still going to be spending more than a fiberglass pool over the course of that 10-year period, which could definitely offset the price of vinyl over fiberglass because the price gap has been closing these recent years. And in terms of long-term durability and those heavy repair costs that we were talking about, fiberglass outclasses vinyl by far. So while fiberglass might be the middle of the road in terms of upfront cost with the 3 different types of pools, it heavily outshines how much you're going to be spending over the course of that 10-year period. So hopefully I was able to teach you something today. If you want the pros and cons for all these types of pools that I just talked about, check out this video right here where I go through just that. I'm Drew with River Pools. I'll see you next time.